When it comes to using essential oils, safety and effectiveness are two very important things, and there was an expert panel of essential oil enthusiasts that covered that at the doTERRA 2018 convention, and I did a little filming myself, and I wanted to share that with you because I found it so beneficial. And this is part 3, and so if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2, make sure to go do that. But if you have, congratulations, and let's get into part 3.
Marissa, we talked a little bit about stress earlier, but reducing stress with mothers and children is something you've studied, and you've found some interesting connections. Talk about what you found in your practice, and talk about the levels of stress that we're experiencing.
So I'm going to take you through a little bit of a typical day in my practice. A few years ago, I was doing a lot of stress testing with my patients, and I was specifically looking at brainwave patterns. I had a lot of women in my practice who were pregnant or trying to get pregnant. And what I was shocked to discover was the number of women who were displaying stress patterns that exactly resembled guys who were in the special forces who had been defusing incendiary bombs in hostile countries. That's the kind of stress that those women were under while trying to get pregnant or pregnant. So I looked at the research that talked about what that kind of outcome looks like for an unborn baby. And what I found is that many of those babies would be born with what's called a lower threshold for stress, meaning it takes far less to stress those children out. At the same time, I would have a very high population of young children who were coming in struggling with behavioral issues and even emotional issues, sometimes as young as 3. And by the time those children got to school age, they were being investigated for behavioral issues and focus and concentration. What was really interesting was that those children were ones who had had multiple health infections at a very young age and went through multiple rounds of conventional treatment. And when we get back to the whole gut-brain connection again, what was not happening was that those parents were not receiving information about how to go back and repair their children's guts after illness and after medication. And then there were the teens. Every time I had a new 14, 15, 16-year-old girl come into my practice, I would know why she was there. Because the incredible levels of anxiousness and sadness that our teenagers are dealing with these days is astronomical. The amount of time lost from school because of the severity of those issues is incredible. And we're not seeing that conventional treatment is being particularly successful. What it's doing is just increasing the chemical load in those kids' bodies overall. So I want to ask you, how many of you can recognize someone you know in that picture? How many of you might even recognize yourselves in that picture? Because the reality is that we are seeing these healthcare challenges in healthcare offices across North America and throughout the world. And what we have in doTERRA is the ability to share information and products that can profoundly shift the struggle in people's homes. At the very beginning of my journey with doTERRA, that was my why. It continues to be the reason why I think every single home needs doTERRA essential oils and supplements. And so when you go home at the end of this week, I want you to ask yourself a question every single day. I want you to ask yourself, whose home you can bring the promise of hope and health into by sharing what you know.
I love that word, hope. We do bring hope. Dr. Gough. Again, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. Dr. Gough's an emergency room physician. And to be quite honest, I don't want to see you in the emergency room. I don't think any of us do. But you see a lot of people who come through those doors who are there because of poor lifestyle choices. How do we protect our bodies?
So when we talk about protecting our bodies, we're really talking about living a lifestyle of wellness, the foundation of which is going to be nutrition. And I don't know, as a physician, a better way to nourish my body than to be taking Lifelong Vitality on a daily basis. Are you guys taking Lifelong Vitality? Yeah. For those of you who aren't, I want you to think about how your body would feel if you nourished it every day with phytonutrients, with the omega fatty acids, one of the 9 most important essential oils that your body needs for optimal function. As one study found, subjects who took a full daily dose of Lifelong Vitality for 2 months experienced statistically significant improvements in biomarkers for cardiovascular health, antioxidant status, inflammatory levels, and blood glucose regulation. Subjects also reported feeling more mental clarity, energy, motivation, control, balance, and hope. Is that something that you're looking for? When you feed your body what it needs to function optimally, it will, and it will be as it is designed to be, whole and well. So if you're not taking Lifelong Vitality, it is the doctor's recommendation to start today.
You heard him, all doctor's orders. Doctor's orders. He's going to write out a script for you. Boy, we have another reason to thank you at this convention, and that's for Yarrow. We actually sent a sample out to Boyd a couple weeks ago, so he's been able to play around with that a little bit. But talk to us why you were so passionate about getting Yarrow and what your experience has been like.
Well, we needed Yarrow for many reasons, many. I mean, it's going to be up there in the realm of a lavender and a frankincense and a papaya. So, but when I received it, as I normally do, is smell first with some on my hand and then right into my mouth. And approximately 12 to 14 hours later, I had a nice moving experience. So, but again, the benefits are many. We won't even get into the emotional benefits, although there are many as well. But we're talking about cognitive support, we're talking about nerve support, we're talking about cardiovascular and circulatory support. And as an antioxidant, along with adding the pomegranate seed into it, I mean, it's even better. So it's wonderful.
Yeah, I know we're all excited to use that one. Thanks, Boyd. All right, Dr. Snyder, you're going to take us home. We got a few seconds left.
Okay.
Talk to us about supporting hormones and what you'd recommend to do that. I know we can spend a lot of time on there.
Oh, Jared. Woo! So, hormones, this is an area of focus for me, mainly because I have struggled from hormone imbalance myself. And the thing about hormones is that they're important regulatory chemical messengers that aid our body in our function. And since they are regulating based on our experiences, based on what we're experiencing in the environment, what I have learned to be the biggest needle mover for women with hormone balance is self-care rituals. And the reason for that is self-care is health-care. Now, oftentimes I find that women like myself feel a lot of shame and guilt around prioritizing their health over somebody else. And that is when we get in trouble with our hormones. I find that when we put ourselves last, we tend to have lots of imbalances there. So I wanted to see if you guys would be open to deciding today that you wanted to say yes to you. Anyone ready to say yes to you today? I love it. We are going to make a commitment today that we are going to honor and love our bodies by implementing daily self-care practices. I'm going to share a couple that I love. So here are some key recommendations for health concerns that I see around hormonal imbalances. Number one is feeling overwhelmed and stressed. You know, Dr. Marissa just mentioned that so often we are off the charts with our cortisol levels and our epinephrine levels when it comes to chronic stress. And what's so great about the power of essential oils is that when we pair them with deep breathing exercises, we can instantly lower our stress levels. So grab that serenity or that balance or that whisper or even that peace blend, have them in your emergency case, because they're in my emergency case, and bring them out, breathe them in, and watch that stress and cortisol levels dissipate. Next is fatigue and being wired and tired. We all want sustainable energy. I know I do. And the best way to do that is through just amazing nutrition. The Lifelong Vitality Pack and Mito to Max are going to be so perfect every day for creating that sustainable energy. But make sure that you have your energizer oils for those moments during those energy slumps. So Motivate, Citrus Bliss, Elevation, a combination of wild orange and peppermint are amazing for boosting those energy levels. And then next, I want to share with you one of the areas that women come to me a lot with, which is cravings. Anyone deal with sugar cravings out there? Any sugar cravings? Maybe like right now? So your go-to oil for just getting rid of sugar cravings and boosting that metabolic support is going to be Slim and Sassy. I call that the sugar be gone essential oil. Just add it to your water or breathe it in and boom, those cravings are gone. And then last but most importantly, let's talk about the regulators. Our hormone support, reproductive hormones, estrogen and progesterone. As I mentioned earlier, that phytoestrogen complex is so incredible, but also Clary-Calm is hormone magic. Can I tell you how amazing that oil is? It's amazing. So use it every day. And then lastly, I just want to share the blend that I couldn't wait to share with you, which is my Superwoman blend. So get your pen and paper out again. This Superwoman blend is everything for getting you back into that zone of genius. It's a 10 ml roller, and here is the recipe. 12 drops of clary sage, 10 drops of lavender, 5 drops of cedarwood, 5 drops of geranium, and 4 drops of ylang-ylang. And if you're feeling extra special, extra fancy, add a little bit of rose and jasmine in there, and then apply it to your palms, rub your palms together, take those 3 deep, much needed breaths, and then get into that Superwoman pose. You know that pose where you feel like you're on top of the world? Because you deserve that moment. And the purpose of all of this whole conversation, is to just honor your body with those self-care rituals so that you can take care of and serve the people that matter most to you. Thank you.
I want to thank each of you for sharing your knowledge, sharing your experience. It's fun to see that doTERRA has a solution for all of us, from elite athletes to kids, to men, to women, to teens. So thank you all. Please give them a warm